We're excited today to welcome Jackie Collins to our program. Jackie, thank you so much for the time today. Really appreciate it.
I am very happy to be here, Cyrus.
Well, look, I'm excited to finally meet you after reading you for 25 years.
Wow.
I mean, you are definitely one of my favorite storytellers. Just wrapped up a great event here to celebrate the release of your 32nd book, The Santangelos. Can you believe it's been 32 books, Jackie?
I absolutely can't. I mean, it's crazy. I look back on some of my books, I can't even remember writing them, like Hollywood Husbands. And then I'll pick it up one day and I'll go, oh, this is really good, I love it. And I wish I could write it again.
Right.
And, going back to Lucky and Chances, and even my first book, The World is Full of Married Men, which was banned everywhere.
Right. I think the real key for me as a guy who loves your books is that and one of the things that was discussed today was the strong women, which are always great. But also I love the fact that you show that men can be multifaceted too. We're not all dogs. Some of us are just confused. We're trying to figure out what we want like everyone else. Has that always been important for you to have great, strong male characters too?
Yes, I love writing male characters because I see so much of the little boy in them. I feel a lot of men are little boys at heart because they all love their mummy and they all want to be, or they hate her. It's either love or hate.
Right.
And so writing a male character is very much about what his relationship was like with his mother too.
Exactly.
And so I always find that I want to bring that into the story.
Yeah. I think the other thing that you mentioned that I wanted to touch on was you mentioned writing your autobiography, and you joked that you're at the age of 15 of the book, you're halfway through. I mean, what is it?
No, how many volumes am I going to have to do?
But what is that like for you to reflect on your own life and your own journey to being not only an independent woman, but also to be able to follow what you believe is your passion and your calling?
Well, it's kind of crazy because I thought it was interesting as I'm writing it, and obviously I'm thinking it's interesting because it's my life. But then one of my daughters read the first 2 chapters, and she said, Mom, this is exactly like one of your books.
Yeah.
So I guess she saw, the humor. I like to write with humor.
Right.
And I also like to get into characters. So, when I'm talking about my father and my mother, they were very interesting characters, but they're almost like I've created them. And so, my mother was very blonde and beautiful and very quiet and laid back. Well, my father was very tall, dark, and handsome, and a chauvinist. So writing them is like writing 2 characters from one of my novels.
Exactly. And you yourself, have lived such an amazing life, and you've been able to inspire, as Lucky has been able to do, been able to inspire so many women. Of course, being able to do what your parents told you weren't going to be able to do, and that is right. What has that been like for you to know that you yourself, put aside Lucky for a moment, but that you've been a source of inspiration for women?
I love it. When I do speeches and go out and talk to women, I always try to inspire them because I think women should have power, and they don't have any power. And a lot of women now are coming along and thinking to themselves, I don't want to get married, I want to get a career first. They have to have something to fall back on. It's not just getting married and having kids, and that's a wonderful thing to do, but it doesn't always work out. So you have to be aware that if it doesn't work out, you can support yourself and your kids, and you're not trapped into something.
Exactly. Let's talk about the Santangelos for a moment, because this book is so amazing. Of course, there's so many twists and turns and that you take the reader on, as we've come to expect. What I really took away from the book, one of the main things, was the power of family, because power is something that all the characters have, and they use it in different ways. But family is one of those things you really talk about, and that's between, of course, Lucky and her own father, and then, of course, Lucky and her daughter with Max. Is family something that you've always been drawn to talk about?
I think that family is so important, and I must say that the Santangelos is a family saga. It is about this family that I've written about in 8 books and written 2 miniseries about for NBC television, 10 Hours of Prime Time, which I wrote and produced. And so it is important to show Lucky. She had a very difficult relationship with Gino, and then they fell apart, and then they got back together, and then they fell apart again and got back together. And in this book, she absolutely adores and loves and understands her father.
Right. Do you think that also kind of foreshadows her own relationship with Max and how she wants Max to be able to have her own freedom and to be able to live the life that she knows is possible?
Yeah, she throws Max out into the world. Lenny, of course, wants to keep Max close. But Lucky says no, she's got to be independent. She's got to do her own thing. She's got to take her own steps in life.
Exactly, and I think that's one of the powerful things we talked about in the discussion you had here today to celebrate the new book, about the other dynamics of the characters. I mentioned in my conversation about King Amir and what he thought about Western women in particular. It's one of the things that you even talked about in the conversation. Do you hope that people are able to look at the women, especially the San Angelos, and be able to say, these are women that make choices and they have to live with the consequences for the choices that they make?
I think so. I think, I wrote about this fictitious country, Arab country, but it's not a religious country. It's just that this king rules his own little kingdom, and he has no respect for women. And I wanted to show that Lucky will confront him and tell him exactly how wrong he is. And she has the stones to do it, which is great.
Exactly, and something that so many people come to respect from Lucky, and of course she was a storyteller. Again, everyone, Jackie Collins is our guest for this segment. Make sure you go pick up your copy of the St. Angelos out now, and visit Jackie online at JackieCollins.com. Jackie, this has really been a dream come true for me. Thank you so much for the time.
Cyrus, it was so great that you came to see me today, and I really appreciate it.
Look, we appreciate you.
To all your listeners.
Well, thank you so much for that.